Well, EA have indeed caved and made some FUT Champs reward changes after the backlash they were getting for the last couple of weeks here for the Bundesliga team of the season, and the reward changes are something. We have the full team leaked right now for it, so we now know what it's going to look like. Talking about Bundesliga team of the season, and honestly, they didn't change that much. I mean, we'll talk about it, not to be a Debbie Downer or whatever, but I think it's more of a good PR change rather than actually a substantial change for our rewards, and we'll talk about that. We've got some evolution leaks as well, one that is apparently really good that we don't know too many details about, so we'll talk about that. And obviously we have 50 plus leaked cards to look at today, which include a couple of pretty good SBCs also. Nothing maybe mind-blowing, but similar to the tier kind of that Xavi Simons SBC, so we'll go and look at that as well. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. And most of you guys know by now we like to do comment videos over the weekend, so I think what I'm going to do though is have our next video, I'm going to ask you guys to leave a comment and then I'll read those ones. But yeah, crash outs continuing. I mean, content right now I'm not even going to go and bother and really look at because it's the same stuff we've been talking about, attempting to not repeat myself complaining every day, but it's just it's something right now. Now, okay, let's get into kind of what the big news was today, and that's EA changing FUT Champs rewards. So let's go to like rank 4 here. I think it's rank 5 and above, I want to say. Yes, rank 5 and above. They now have a minimum rating on the red picks, which obviously that's nice to see, right? It still does include the women's league players, but there are some really good women's league players, so it's hard to say that that's like a horrible idea, but obviously it makes the picks worse when there's more players incorporated into these. But now there's a minimum requirement, or minimum rating, sorry, so that in theory should help. But our first league we're gonna go and look at is kind of everybody, right? And well, we'll go and count through how many cards are not 93 plus, and I'm gonna warn you now, it's not very many. So it's like, okay, kind of a good change. Also, I don't think it'll make rewards significantly better, and Embuemo came out, and but okay, so because we were just talking about this, let's start with this image here because it kind of does prove that Champs rewards honestly are not going to be that improved. And these are all the cards leaks to be in the teams, Super League, Bundesliga, and the Women's Bundesliga. And let's count how many cards are not 93, and then we'll go and look at the rest of these cards here. We do have SBCs leaked as well that are not in this image, so keep that in mind as well. But let's see, we've got one in Svanberg. You can't see his card down here, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Okay, so I just counted them, and instead of 37 cards that you can get in the rewards, there are now 30. And, you know, count how many fodder cards there are. There's probably 10 or so that you would immediately not use at all on your team. So I'm gonna be honest with you, the Champs rewards got better, but it's not gonna be that substantial of a difference to the point where it's totally worth it if you don't want to play Champs, guys. So once again, I'm just reminding you, if Champs is not good for your mental health or whatever, like if you're really competitive and you want to win every game and you're upset with yourself or upset with the game and you don't win every game, then, you know, just consider your options here because these Champs rewards are not going to be that substantially better, honestly, I don't think. Play the game for as much fun as you possibly can. But okay, let's look through some of these cards here. Jonathan Tah, 4 playstyle pluses. I'm kind of curious to see who the 4 playstyle plus cards are. And Jonathan Tah is in there, and he looks pretty damn good. Although 2 playstyle pluses for center back, you might not find super duper useful. We saw Osman and Kane's card already, but there's their full stats, and it's pretty crazy. Florian Wirtz is in there with a nice card. Dusan Tadic looks pretty damn good, actually. I always like seeing them juice out some of the lower league team of the season cards, definitely. Davinson Sanchez there has really good stats and high rated, but not actually the best playstyle pluses. Olise looks pretty fantastic, technical, finesse, and rapid there. Musiala gets 4 playstyle pluses, and they're all pretty damn good. The best dribbling in the game would be my guess for that Musiala card. Huth is in there, and Huth looks pretty damn good too, actually. People don't really want to use her as my guess, but she's pretty damn good. There's the harder card that we kind of already saw yesterday. Besides, we got Freigang, 4 playstyle pluses with some great stats too. Davies has quick step, jockey, and pinged. Sure, looks pretty good. Upamecano's card looks pretty damn good as well. Patrick Schick's card looks, actually, the playstyle pluses are pretty good, but the stats are actually a little lower on him. And Pop, you know, Pop always has cards in FIFA that are high rated, but not always the best. Kimmich looks pretty good. Grimaldo, they gave Relentless +2, which as a fullback maybe isn't the worst thing ever, but kind of 2 playstyle pluses on Grimaldo there. Same with Fred, who has great stats, but 2 playstyle pluses again. Buell there, Buell actually looks pretty good. That's an interesting combo you don't see too often with quick quick step and long ball. Berenstain, relentless again on her. Scrolling down, Garasi, if that's his dynamic, I will be there for that, but I doubt it. Hincapie, don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm sorry, but he looks pretty good. And kind of looking through here, is there anybody else really that's notable? Simon's got 4 playstyle pluses as a women's fullback. Okay, was trying to see if goalkeepers had 3 playstyle pluses yet, in terms of 3 goalkeeper playstyle pluses yet. Doesn't look like it. Ekatike's card actually looks pretty damn good. 99 base pace with rapid finesse and low driven, or sorry, that's chip shot, not low driven. I'm so sorry, that's not quite as good, but kind of reminds me of that Jonathan David card that came out earlier in the Liga and Team of the Season here. Bino Gittins looks pretty good. Amiri is pretty good down there, and that's kind of the main notable ones here. Maybe Getson Fernandez too looks pretty good, and he might fit into some Evos soon. That's the nice thing about 91s, at least, is that they'll fit into some Evos soon, you would expect. But yeah, I actually think the top-end Bundesliga TOTS cards, and maybe even Super League 2, they're going to be very, very good and not as expensive, so I like that a lot. But, you know, just as we get more and more Team of the Season cards, which this kind of sounds dumb again and dumb to complain about, but if we're being honest here, this is just EA's problem that has persisted now for 2 months, and some of these bottom Team of the Season cards are not even sniffing your team, right? Like, look at this left mid Kogel card, Whipped, Trickster, Rapid. It's like, this card is not going to make a Souls team that's played longer than 1 week. And I totally understand not every card should be for everybody. That makes total sense. You shouldn't, you know, only make cards to be the most meta possible, but it's more of a broader spectrum. When we get towards 94s that don't make teams, 95s that don't make teams, okay, then we have that problem that we've been talking about. That makes Team of the Season not as interesting because it's not as special as it used to be. And then that's the problem that EA probably is going to address next year if this Team of the Season doesn't go well, which they're making some changes, which seems like maybe they do kind of think it's not going to plan, because if it was going to plan, would they have made those FUT Champs changes? You know, they probably, to me, would have stood pat on those rewards. I'm just guessing at that, though. They might have wanted to change this the whole time. My guess is that the player count can't be looking extremely good right now. It would be my guess, but I'm just guessing. But okay, SBC League, we've got Frimpong as an SBC, and this one's kind of interesting. The stats actually look very good on him. Technical, quick step, and anticipate, which is kind of unique for a right back, a very good attacking right back. And obviously with 99 pace, it helps a lot because you can just give him a sentinel or something like that and boost his stats up like crazy. That's always the benefit of 99 pace players, but this is kind of the level of SBCs we're seeing. It's better than Prem, but it's not maybe mind-blowing. But I think Frimpong will be great for players who have fullbacks that love going forward. And the next one here is a player that you don't expect to have a juiced out card, but honestly, the SBC is kind of insane. And that's Lars Ricken here. So he's going to be an SBC or an objective. Here's the official stats and the playstyle pluses. And on this day hero, and pinged pass, you know, that's S tier. Finesse is maybe S tier, and incisive is S tier with 95 pace, 92 shot and dribbling. Like, that's kind of an insane card, actually, with elite playstyle pluses and 95 rated. You just don't expect to see that from Ricken, so he's not the most hyped up player ever, but the card itself looks pretty damn good. So yeah, like I said, still better than Prem Tots, but maybe not going to knock your socks off there, but at least it's an improvement. I mean, I'll take anything, will take anything at this point. Next up here is Georgia Stanway, who also has a really, really nice card here. Incisive, long ball, anticipate, sure. 9 Golan gang as well. That's a pretty nice card there. And then we got one more attacker SBC that also looks pretty damn good. And actually, hold on. We're going to look at this defender one first because there's 2 attacker ones that are kind of good that we'll look at together. So Kim Min Jae also is going to be an SBC or an objective, and intercept, anticipate, and jockey. Great center back there. I do wonder who will be the reward for FUT Champs wins. I do wonder what card that's going to be because it's one of the cards in here, right? Could be Frimpong, could be Kim Min Jae, could be Javi Simons. It's not going to be Javi Simons, but it could be. And it also could be one of these 2 players that let's go and look at right now. We got this guy right here, and that is Lois Openda coming as an SBC. Quick step, technical, and low driven. 97 pace, only 92 dribbling, which I do wonder if they're going to make this the champs reward because the stats actually on him aren't maybe that insane. They're good, of course. They're not maybe as good as some cards you'll see in Team of the Season. And the other attacker down here I was going to show you is this Seshko card, who has aerial, low driven, and technical, with once again the stats there are good, but maybe not the most insane ever, so he could also be the champs reward there. And some Super League guys as well. You've got Gabriel Sara, also fits in Evo, so that makes it even better. And then this Burak Yilmaz card that might not even be Burak Yilmaz. I don't even know. I apologize for my ignorance. That card looks kind of not so great. But, you know, looking at these 5 here, 5 or 6 cards, it's better than Prem Tots. But like we talked about, even with Ricken included, not maybe mind-blowing. I'm still waiting on a Muller end of an era because, like, where's that, right? Muller end of an era is so obvious for Bundesliga team of the season, and that's not leaked yet, which I'm surprised by. But trying to figure out what EA's content plan is right now literally is pointless because it doesn't make sense. The only sense it makes is they just simply don't have the people working on this game still to make content great anymore. Otherwise, really none of it adds up. Now, one last SBC leak we have here is the FA Cup Final Showdown SBC, and that's Rico Lewis and Adam Wharton. Stats official as well. I'm assuming they'll get a third playstyle plus whatever team wins it. Official stats as well. They seem to have boosted Wharton a little bit, you know, because Crystal Palace is obviously the underdog there. And Rico Lewis has Rapid and Jockey with some nice stats in there. I'm assuming most people will probably end up completing Rico Lewis if they want to have a chance at the winner. But yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts on all the cards are, at least in terms of how they look and when they come out today. Will it be better than Prem? I mean, it can't be worse than Prem Tots, which sounds like just an asinine statement to say if you'd have told me that like a month ago. That, oh, it can't be worse than Prem Tots is like a statement that actually makes sense. But okay, there was this AC tweet as well that was the bomb emojis with the evolution symbols, so we must be getting a pretty big Evo on the way, right? And he does have some replies down here. He says, if it's not exchanges, don't put bombs, says this guy who replied to him. AC says, when exchanges come out, it's not going to be only 6 bombs. Ahaha. Unique riggers. Are we finally getting champs Evos? AC says, no, normal Evos, but a good one. So he says normal Evos, but one good one. So we have the plural and the singular. I'm assuming it just means one really good Evo. And then the Evo leak that we got right after this was, well, there were a couple of them. Because once AC made that tweet, it kind of seemed like leakers were rushing to be the first one to leak it, right? So right after that, it was like 5 minutes later. FUT Agent tweets out, TOTS Evo attacking, big shooting boost, very good playstyle plus, just expect it, no more details, says FUT Agent there. And then we got this one from FUT Police Leaks that doesn't look like it might be this one, but it could be, because an hour later or so, we get a new 91 max striker Evo on the way, low driven plus, finesse plus, and chip shot plus, which I guess could they consider low driven and finesse combined really, really good, like worth the bomb emojis from AC side, who usually doesn't like overhype shit. Well, I mean, all leakers do to a certain extent, but you know what I'm trying to say. Some people do it worse than others. I don't know if this is the one he's talking about. He does say stat boost upgrade, of course, paid Evo, max 10 regular play styles. Fernando Torres fits here, and he does say in the replies, we don't need to overhype this Evo. Most of your players will not fit because of a dribbling requirement, and the upgrades are decent, but not crazy. So I'm going to guess this is not the one they're talking about, and my guess would be, once again, we have an 87 dribbling max requirement or something close to that, because he says most of our favorite players aren't going to fit. So can we stop with these 86 or 87 maxes? That new center mid Evo I complimented yesterday, right? I didn't realize it doesn't upgrade dribbling at all. So if you have an 84 dribbling card that's a center mid that fits in there, they have 84 dribbling. 84 dribbling in May, not going to get it done. 87 dribbling in May is the max. 87 dribbling is the max. That's not going to get it done either. And it's unfortunate that it is that way, but EA do set the game up to be that way. So hopefully it's not an 87 dribbling and it stays there. If it does, we are in for, you know, I don't know. It's going to be make your card a semi, make your card an 18 wheeler Evo, trying to get that guy to turn on the pitch. But I'm going to take a guess and say that's not the big Evo they're talking about. But those are the ones that we've got leaked right now. And that center back Evo came out earlier today that we had leaked. And then also, you guys know what we kind of were thinking might come today. Didn't come out. Gone but not forgotten. Up in the heavens with Futmas Gabriel Jesus. We have got ourselves Gura Wright and SBC that FUT Agent tweeted out. It is, appears to be dead and buried. Unfortunately, rest in peace. And leakers were dunking on FUT Agent bad today, saying like, you know, we are none. Yeah, right here. FUT Police Leaks. I need some help. Should I do right in SBC? We are none. Now, FUT Police Leaks does make some interesting replies down here, because somebody asked him and he was like, I mean, how can one leaker make this mistake? Do they not use real-time in-game data to leak shit? And it says down here, you know, things are added to the game and then they are removed. So if that's the case, why dunk on the guy? If it's not his fault, he leaked it first. I guess maybe people are better at knowing what's more likely to come out and what isn't more likely. I don't know. But he says here, because you will not spend your whole life 24/7 to check if the information leaked is still there. As in, why criticize FUT Agent for making the wrong leak? FUT Police Leak says, why would you spend your whole life 24/7 checking the info? Brother, you run a leaks page. This is what you do. You can't make fun of somebody for doing it more than you. Someone just more dedicated to the grind than you are, pal. And he says down here, though, this guy asks, can I use Hullet in the Evo that was just leaked? And he says, in 4, I think. All leaked here way before others. 4 out of 5, it is fine. So is he saying 4 out of 5 of the Evos leaked Hullet can fit inside? I don't know if that's what he's saying here, but that could be maybe interesting and points towards other leaks on the way. But yeah, that's kind of all the stuff right now. And hey, is fodder gonna move from this? No. Like, they're gonna have to drop some crazy kind of content that's not an SBC, of a player SBC that is, that would make fodder rise. It would be a repeatable, permanently 8310 or something, or a repeatable 8220 again. Like, I don't know what would make fodder rise at all at this point. I don't know what would. I can't believe we're even looking at like, oh yeah, let's look at what 94s are priced right now to go buy those. They're 17K? Yeah, all right, pal. I mean, I don't think they're gonna rise. I don't know what would drop that will. I don't recommend buying yet until we have at least some sort of guess as to something that could come out that could make them rise. Of course, you might say then it would be too late, but you might hold on to these for like a month and they're still the exact same. So I don't want to risk doing that this time of the year, considering, well, for one, I'm voice cracking in my mid-20s. And for two, it's like, this is the fun time. Keep your coins, do some gamble picks, spend them around, have some fun, do some evos. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it right now to really buy a bunch of these. And okay, let's read some of your comments now. We've got Daniel who says, so basically, EA struggled to meet the expectations. They improved the gameplay, sent some good evos, and when they reached the target, they just left the lobby and left us with speed boosts and Travellas forever. That is exactly what they did, yes. I don't know if that was what the plan was, but it ended up that way. I think they just left us with the gameplay. Like I said, I think most of them are on the next game right now because it doesn't feel like this game is super polished at the moment. And it did feel like it kind of was. They were attempting to make it polished, right? This game is not even close to polished. They were attempting as much as you would expect EA to those couple months there to make it more polished. And they kind of have gone back on that a bit. More mistakes recently. Content doesn't seem to be as innovative or put as much effort into. Just a theory. But next up here is Gravedigger. Corpo speak is such corpo speak, but there is a thing to keep in mind. They are talking about previous quarter, hence there's a lag of several months, and they're still talking about the January update. And I bring this up because I do wonder what the next one will look like. What are they going to talk about? They can't talk about the January update for every single earnings call, especially when FC26 is, you know, on the way out. I don't know. It's funny that they're so hooked on that because that's the one thing this year that has gone well for them in terms of like player feedback and player numbers. Everything else, they fucked up bad before that, right? Before that, and even after that, I would say at this point, we had a couple months there where things were looking pretty good, or at least better. And it's kind of been, besides that, it's been kind of a shit show. Next up, we got Blingo Usman. I might have butchered that. I apologize. I think people look at the 82x20 with rose-tinted glasses. It was not that good, and to say it's a better menu grind than exchanges is insane. I think that team of the year was so bad that the one good part of it gets looked at way too fondly. It was not that crazy. And I mean, there might be some truth to that. I think that it's probably, I think personally it's better than you're giving it credit for. I do think though that the exchange menu grind was also fantastic. Like, not to take away from exchanges at all, because I think they should still be in the game and it was so much fun and it was awesome. But I do think the 82x20, if you were on Pale Tools and you were making like literally one of these every couple of minutes, if that, then it was probably insane. You might have been on console where it takes longer to build them and it might not have been as good that way, but if you use like the web app, it was insane. That could be part of this too, but it might not have been as insane as I'm making it out to be. But what it is for sure though is a drastic difference to what we've had this year. This year, the menu grind's not been very good. An 82x20 was by far the best we've seen this year, whether you think it was like insane or not. And I think that's where like I personally expected them to go from here. I was like, okay, well, they're going to start to do this kind of stuff then, considering the numbers are down and maybe they want to appease the hardcore players more. Their hardcore cohorts that we talked about yesterday, they want to appeal to those guys more maybe and give a more like in-depth and rewarding menu grind. And then we got that and they just said, fuck that. That was basically a band-aid, and then you peel the band-aid off and they're like, oh, the wound's clean, it's good to go. And we proceed to then never see anything close to that again. So that's the perplexing part to me. And I do, if I had to guess though, we'll probably see the 82x20 again during maybe Ultimate Team of the Season. But maybe we won't. And that was just literally an aberration on the season. But hey, thank you all for joining and being here today. I appreciate you all so much. I love y'all. Servers on, please.